Welcome to the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Pulaski Electric System. I'm Steve Pierce, your host. Along beside of me, Bobcat head football coach Walt Smith. Coach, the season goes by really quick. This will be our last show for the 2014 season.
Yeah, you look at it and before the season starts, you think 15 weeks or however many weeks you're going into it is a long time, but after it's over, it looks like it's been gone just in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, it does. It really goes fast. Sort of rehash a little bit, and then we'll lead up to what all's happened to the Bobcats and what we can look forward to for the future, for next year's Bobcats. But we'll go all the way back to the final regular season game. We've already touched it a little bit. Giles County comes up short at Marshall County, 34-17. But then, Coach, didn't the playoff brackets come out?
Yeah.
And we get to go back to Marshall County.
Yeah, it was our guys were pumped. Again, like you said last time, don't get a lot of times to get a second chance at a rivalry, a redemption like that. But when the pairings come out, our guys were excited. And as a coach, you like that feeling from your kids because it could have been the other way. We could have got those pairings out, and our kids said, "Oh no, we got to go back over there again." But instead, our kids were really excited about getting another opportunity at them, and we made the most of it.
There you go. The Bobcats defended all three borders this year, Lawrence County, Lincoln County, and finally Marshall County. Coach, it was a back-and-forth, hard-fought ball game that went all the way down to the end. The Bobcats came away with a win, 38-35, but there was just a lot of things happened in the ball game. Just a recap from your memory of all the big plays, the defensive stops by both sides.
It was, I'm sure it was an unbelievable game to watch from the stands. I know those kind of games are definitely fun to coach in, but I'm sure watching in the stands, it was exciting. Both teams making big plays, both teams making big defensive stops, big swings in the game. We go from being down to 11 at one or 10 at one time to being up 10 at one the next time. So lots of big swings. Big plays from some big players, and just a hard-fought battle between two rivals that we were able to come out on top of.
Let's talk about Marshall County a little bit, particularly in Walker, their running back, Chris Walker. Just an outstanding performance. As a high school coach or even a college coach, you look out there on the field, and there's that old adage, Coach, of leaving it all on the field. And I think the Bobcat fans and the Bobcat Nation, you got to sort of tip your hat to that young man.
Absolutely. Again, some of those, sometimes you come across a player that just kind of puts his team on his back and tries to carry them to a victory or throughout a season. And he's carried them. He's been a lot of their offense all year long. But the last two nights at Marshall County against us, he kind of put them on his back and tried to win the game by himself a lot, and almost did it by himself. He's just an unbelievable player. Great effort, great heart. Seems like a good kid every time I've talked to him, and he's a credit to their community.
Coach, like you said, back and forth ball game. We've been looking for the Bobcats to put together a complete game, and at Marshall County, offensively, defensively, talking about leaving it on the field, I think your players are something you'd be proud of from now on. Offense, defense, special teams, they played their hearts out.
Absolutely. I felt like it was one of our better games all year long, most complete anyway. We had some mistakes. We had a few defensive breakdowns, missed some tackles, had a few offensive breakdowns, a few special teams breakdowns. But all in all, when we needed to play, it seemed like our guys stepped up and played really good. Got an onside kick, recovered, made some good plays on offense, especially on third downs, converting some plays. Defensively, made some big third down stops, and then the interception in the end zone to end the game.
What a way to end the ball game. Marshall County takes the ball with very little time left going down the field, and it all winds down to about 8 seconds left on the clock. Dontarius Gilbert comes up with a big interception in the end zone to seal the game for the Bobcats. What an exciting finish.
It was, and I was proud for Doc because he's had a rough year. He's had pulled hamstring, and for most of the year, the last 3 games is really the only 3 games he's been really full speed in, and he's battled through it and played for us, even though he's been about 50-60% most of the time, but been in there with us and been our leader on defense, trying to get us in the right defenses and things. And for him to come out and have some success in the last few games is really big for him, I think.
Coach, just a huge celebration after the game. It was so good to watch the Bobcat players, the cheerleaders, the parents, the fans, the Bobcat Band of Gold, everybody come together over at Marshall County. It's sort of like a bowl game, Coach, is the way I've described it. It's been a tough season and things we've talked about that's happened on the field and off the field. But, man, that was it was a way to end the first round of the playoffs.
Absolutely. It was good to see our kids smile. We hadn't got a chance to smile a whole lot this year because, again, of all the different things we've had to deal with, and then not being as successful on the field as we want to be. Even some of our wins, we didn't feel like we played like we should have to get those. But it was a good night for the whole community, a good night for celebration, and a big step to show people that we're still right there with everybody.
There you go. So the Bobcats victorious over Marshall County. They finished the season, with a win in the first round of the playoffs. And then the Bobcats travel on to White House, Tennessee. I'll tell you a little bit about White House. Coach Porter, he's been there over 30 years, just a solid program. Bobcats went up there and got a victory last year. But, Coach, we knew before we ever got there that it was going to be a tough task for the Bobcats.
Yeah, it was. I think I read somewhere where they've been to the quarterfinals 18 of his 32 years or 31 years or something like that at White House. So, they're a solid program that's always there every year in, year out, going to the second, third round of the playoffs, and always do things well. He does a good job. They're a class program, not a lot of distractions that you have to deal with or anything like that. The players usually behave themselves, and they usually treat you right when you go up there. But they're definitely a good football team, and they showed that Friday night.
Yeah, the Bobcats take the opening drive, Coach, and they just absolutely, you stayed on the ground mixing it up. A lot of different plays. You seemed like you were trying to attack different positions on the field to see what you could and couldn't do. And then just a helmet on a ball, the Bobcats fumble down on about the 17-yard line. It stalls the drive.
Yeah, we were worried as coaches coming off 2 emotional weeks like we did against Marshall County. We were worried about, our kids' mental state and whether or not they were going to be ready or whatever. And I felt like we were ready to go. The weather was kind of cold, but it was cold on both sides. But felt like we were. We came out good, came down the field, and fumbled the ball inside the 15 like that really took some air out of us. And then them being able to capitalize and going back down the field and score it on a long drive. We only touched the ball one time in the first quarter, and that was kind of their game plan, was to keep the ball away from us and hope we turned over a couple of times, and we kind of fell into their game plan and did what they needed to do to win.
Coach, special teams, I'm going to back up just a second to the Marshall County games. Griffin Birdsong, 3 points was the difference in that game, and you alluded to the onside kick. Then I'm going to fast forward to the White House game. We stop them, and they punt, and they had done this a week before against Creekwood, and Giles County recovers the ball on the 1 foot line. And to me, it was flashbacks of Lewis County a few years ago. So the same thing happened to the Bobcats at Lewis County. Trevor Holder can't hang on to the football in the end zone, and White House recovers it for a touchdown. Coach, it was all downhill from then on.
Yeah, it was, again, they go down and score, make it 7-0, but then we come out and trade punts with them and felt like we've got a little bit of momentum back. We've stopped their momentum, got a little momentum back, and called a play and kind of got a guy going down the seam uncovered. We felt like we could hurt one of their coverages that way, and on a cold night, the cold hard ball just kind of slipped out of his hands, and we even talked about it after the game. If we could have just fell on that and made it a 2-point, score for them, made it 9-0 there, it might could have been a different game also. But they were able to fall on it, make it 14-0, and it kind of took the wind out of our guys. I felt like I was proud of our guys because we didn't quit. We kept battling all night long, but really took a lot of wind out of us right there, and it was hard to recover from.
The 14-point swing there, Coach, and you called it. Dontarius Gilbert, you talked about it on the seam route. He was wide open, good play call there, but obviously you called it the ball cold, it's hard, and, it just slipped out of Trevor's hand, and the rest is history. But the Bobcats did continue to fight, the whole game all the way to the end, but it just wasn't a night for the Cats.
Yeah, it seemed like everything went right for them, and really not a whole lot went right for us. We were able to move the ball a little bit. Come out the second half, got a score, got a big special teams return, but up front they kind of had their way with us a little bit and just kept moving the ball methodically and scored enough points to put us away.
So the Bobcats fall at White House in the second round of the playoffs, 39-21, which ends the season. Coach, like you alluded to it earlier, there's some games that we thought we should have won that we didn't. A lot happened off the field, but Bobcats still made it to the second round of the playoffs. You got to be proud of this senior class that's leaving. Anything you want to say about this group?
You just can't say enough. I told them, I think week 5 or 6, that to me they were winners regardless of what happened on the field, just because of what they'd overcome and what they'd had to deal with and how they'd handled everything that they had to deal with this year. And, it spilled over again. I felt like that was one of the reasons we were able to advance to the second round. And, again, it's obviously we want to be one of the 2 guys standing at the end of the thing every year in our class. But to be in the top 16 of your class is still a pretty good accomplishment. There's about 40 or 45 other schools that would trade places with you in a heartbeat. And although, again, we want to be the best, not one of the best, all in all, after what we dealt with, I felt like these seniors led us to a pretty successful season.
So the 2014 edition of the Giles County Bobcat ends with a loss at White House. Coach, let's move on a little bit. Exciting times are ahead next year. TSSAA has reshuffled the districts, the regions, and first of all, let's talk a little bit about the Bobcat schedule next year. We got some people that we've been playing that used to be out of district, but now they're in our district. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, our district, we lost CPA and Cascade out of our district and picked up Lawrenceburg and Tullahoma in our district. So we've been playing those 2 out of district games, and this year they'll just be district games. So it'll add a little more importance, a little more spice to the cowbell game. It didn't need it really, but it'll definitely add it to it, because now it'll have playoff implications, and district championship implications on it. We picked up those 2 as region games. In the regular schedule, we also dropped Dinsworth off our schedule. We're going to play Columbia the first week, and then we also picked up Kenwood out of Clarksville and Signal Mountain out of Chattanooga to round out our schedule with our other region games. We'll still play Lincoln County. Some of the order got moved around, and you want me to go down through?
You can.
We'll start out. We go to Columbia and to Chevrolet to open the season. The first 2 weeks next year, and then we have the Cowbell game will be the 3rd game of the year, and we have them at home, Lincoln County at home, and Marshall County at home. 3 back-to-back weeks there. Then we go on the road to Kenwood, come back to Spring Hill. Then we're off for a week. Hopefully that's a fall break week. Makes I know people going on trips don't get to come see us during that fall break week if they're on trips and things. So hopefully that's going to be when fall break falls. Then after fall break, we go to Page. We have Signal Mountain at home, and then we go to Tullahoma to round out the regular season. And got 6 teams in our district, which would be 5 region games. And they also changed it this year, the overall record and all that stuff. The playoffs, we're going away from the Z plan. And basically the top 4 teams in each region go to the playoffs, and you're seeded 1 through 4, and you'll play another regions 1 through 4. So kind of going back to the old way of doing things TSSAA did than before the last 6 years.
Well, that's great, Coach. And, it's a really good schedule for Giles County. And if you look at it just off the top, you look at it, it's going to be like this year. Every game, the Bobcat fans are going to get their money worth. I mean, it's a really good schedule for next year.
Absolutely. Again, when you've had success like we've had, you're not going to be able to schedule anybody that people aren't just lined up to play you every week. But I feel like we've got some good teams that are traditionally pretty good year in, year out that are coming in here to play us and that we're going to play. And then, of course, the next year the home and aways will flop, and we'll start out with 2 home games the next year. So with 3 on the road. But I got some good teams. It'll be good games, and we'll be ready to go next year.
There you go. Coach, let's talk a little bit about the offseason. It's the old adage in high school football, when you play that last game, next year starts now. So talk a little bit about first of all, we won't talk about personnel yet, but let's talk about the plans that you have for the personnel as far as what's going to happen in the offseason? How are we going to get bigger, faster, stronger?
Well, it's championships are won in the offseason, that's for sure. Our weight room will be. I thought we had a good year in the weight room last year, but this year's got to be even better. We talked about that. We feel like one of the strengths of our team next year is going to be up front, especially with our offensive line having 4 of the 5 starters back next year. But they've got to get bigger, faster, and stronger. We've got some running backs coming back next year that we're going to have to lean on a little bit, losing a lot of our other skill guys. and they're going to have to get bigger, stronger, faster. So we're going to take this week off to kind of do some housekeeping, take up equipment, schedule our banquets and all that stuff, and then starting Monday we will get back into the weight room ready to go. And we'll hit it full force. On top of the weight room, we're after Christmas, we're going to start our speed school again, have it 2 days a week. Still trying to work out the schedule with softball and baseball and soccer teams. It'll also be using our indoor facility in the spring and get that cranked up. But that'll be for the whole community, not just our kids. Our kids take advantage of it, but it'll be something we offer to the community for young kids, anybody from kindergarten all the way up to senior in high school. So definitely be hitting that along with the weight program, and just excited about the new weight program, the new weight equipment we bought this past season. We got it right end of May. We got it in here, so this will be the first off season we get to really hit it. Got 5 new racks with the chains and all different kinds of things that will help us for sure. The power ropes, it's kind of a new thing that everybody's going to that really help with not only cardio, but it will help with your grip for tackling, your shoulders, things like that. Also, just to avoid injury, keep us healthy and get us bigger, faster, stronger.
Coach, the Bobcats getting ready for 2015. It did go quick. I want to congratulate you on the season and, making it to the second round of the playoffs. Your staff has done a great job, all the things that's happened, but we also want to give a shout out to Mark Carden, the principal at Giles County High School, and all the teachers and support staff and everybody at the high school, the Bobcat moms, the dads, the fans, the community, everybody that volunteers and pitches in. It's about school pride, and it's about supporting these young men, young women, Bobcat Band of Gold. The list goes on and on, Coach.
Absolutely. Again, it's the support here is as good as anywhere I've ever been around or been at or even heard about. I haven't heard of anybody else having even more support than what we've got. It's just it's great, not only school spirit but community spirit to let people know that they're involved. Also, it's not just about the school and the kids; it's about the whole community coming together on Friday nights. Something that's missing a lot of places in America, and I think it helps us stay a good place to live.
Well, there you go. This has been the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Pulaski Electric System. Very soon, it'll be time for the 2015 edition of the Giles County Bobcats. Stick around. We'll see you there.